to fight. And also, we've kind of just heard some news about Usyk as well. He's received clearance from the Ukraine. He's now able to get clearance to leave the Ukraine and train for the Anthony Joshua rematch. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think he will actually leave, or do you think he's going to stay within Ukraine? Because it's kind of like controversial either way, isn't it?
Clearly there's a lot going on there for Alexander Usyk to focus on outside of the ring. If he does take the decision to, I suppose, return to the West and, start training and, focusing on his boxing again, the rematch versus Anthony Joshua is something that, having watched that fight live, he was miles ahead of Anthony Joshua. And I don't know if on that particular day, AJ was just, not at the races. He was just off it.
Yeah.
But AJ's got to bring a huge amount more. Don't forget now, Usyk holds the belts and Joshua's the one he's the challenger.
Yeah.
He's going to have to convince those judges on the scorecards, if it gets that far, and I'm not convinced it will, that he's the better fighter over 12 championship rounds. And I just don't think that he's quite got it in him anymore. The desire, the yearning to be great, I'm just not sure. I'm not convinced yet, that's all.
A couple of things to kind of think about with this as well, because, Joshua, he obviously came in with the wrong game, with the wrong tactics. He came in there trying to box and outbox, which he's never going to do with Usyk, which was a strange kind of mentality. He didn't look himself. I still think Alexander Usyk is going to be too much for him, honestly, in my opinion. And I think his only way to win that fight is to come in and just come with a kitchen sink and just absolutely, bring the dog out of him, which I've not seen him have.
What I want to see from AJ is reminiscent of, the performances he was putting in 4 or 5 years ago when he was fighting his way to the top and he was hungry as a boxer. He had that power punch, he had the speed, he had the style and the charisma in the ring, and you could really see that. And I think from his last few fights, really starting with the first fight that he lost in New York, he just hasn't shown that level of desire, the quickness, I don't know. It's very hard to put a phrase on it, but he's just really not been in it. His heart's not been in it, and you can kind of see that, unfortunately. And I think he's going to have to approach this fight very, very differently. I'm a little bit unsure at the moment as to what his sort of training regime has been, who his coach is going to be, etc. But he needs to change something, otherwise the result will not be any different.
Yeah, I mean, he's changed his trainer, hasn't he? He's gone for the American trainer that he's had previously in his ringside, but it's to me it's a bit wishy-washy. I don't think his head's quite sure what he wants to do. I don't think he's quite clear how he's going to fight Usyk, and I don't think he's quite clear in his mind. I think he needs to have that.
He's been called out recently by Joe Joyce. I would personally love to see that fight. I think Joe Joyce, with that really stiff jab, he's a big guy.
I think Joyce beats him,
reach.
Honestly.
He's got great speed and technique.
Yeah.
I think at this moment in time, I think Joe Joyce beats Anthony Joshua. I think Dillian White beats Anthony Joshua.
Yep.
At the moment, and more importantly, I think maybe Deontay Wilder, although he's having a break from boxing, I think he beats Anthony Joshua as well.
Yeah.
Personally. So Joshua's gone from a position where he's, arguably been, number 1, number 2 in the world. He's now maybe down at sort of 5 or 6 in my books, personally.
And also, I just think his confidence is shot. I think that's the main thing. I feel like he's not the fighter he was. And I think Andy Ruiz really took it out of him. He's not been the same since. And I think you're right. I think all of those guys that you said would beat Joshua, except I think Deontay Wilder and Joshua, I think, would be a really good matchup. Simply because I think
Sure.
Wilder's confidence is shot, so is Joshua's. I think them two together would be a mega fight. That would be a great fight to watch because they're going to go swinging at each other.
My concern would be that if Andy Ruiz, and with all great respect to him, he's been a world champion in his own right, and he beat Joshua on home turf. And that was a wonderful performance. And I think it was expected that he was going to lose the rematch in Saudi Arabia. But I think at this moment in time, if Andy Ruiz and Alexander Usyk, who has, he's worked his way up from the division below, I think if they're troubling Anthony Joshua and they're sort of under pressure and testing his chin and his durability, I think if he gets into the ring with a big, heavy puncher like Deontay Wilder, I can't see Anthony Joshua lasting more than maybe 5 or 6 rounds unless he's absolutely, on peak performance. And even then, I think he's got an uphill task to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Charles, for your thoughts and opinions on that. I haven't got any other questions.
One of the final thing for me to mention, just want to wish Katie Taylor good luck in her fight in New York in a couple of weeks' time. That's going to be fabulous.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Also, my one take on the Josh Taylor versus Jack Catterall fight.
Oh, yeah.
That was an abomination of judging, and I just want the boxing community and the boxing world overseas to